And the next one is we've got the Okains Bay Reserve Management Committee, and we've got Richard Boland, Peter Te Rangi Hiroa Ramsden, and it says Ngāi Tahu and Kokorarata representative, but that's not a name of a person, so. Sorry.
You want me to come as well?
Yes.
As a part-time resident of Okains.
Excellent.
And representing the Okains Museum, which has a direct interest in both these issues they want to raise. Potable water.
Excellent.
And that's number one priority, isn't it, Richard? Potable water.
Yeah.
And then redevelopment of the falling down hall. Community needs a hall. Okains Bay Museum needs a hall. The whole village needs a hall. It's integral to Waitangi Day ceremonies in Okains Bay. The largest Waitangi Day ceremony in the South Island, the longest lasting in the South Island. You should all appreciate that. You should all come over and see the lamentable state of the hall and taste the lamentable state of the water. Richard?
No, the hall is on a very sad...
We are planning to come, so we're just looking for a date to bring the whole council, and we're going to have a bonding session on the bus on the way out there, so...
Oh, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, no, the hall is in a very poor state of repair. In fact, it recognised about 30 years ago, and the Reserve Board, at the time, we started putting, I think it was $5,000 a year away for a replacement of the hall, which eventually got up to 400,000. You know, and that's through running a camping ground as well. So, but 12 months ago, the council, up until then, we used to manage all our own money, funds, everything. 12 months ago, the council decided that they've taken over all the money side, and we're very concerned about this fund of 400,000 that we actually had put aside for a hall replacement. We're a bit concerned that there's people in the council quite keen to see it's gone in other directions, and the residents are, you know, pretty keen to see it actually kept for a hall fund. And when we do the hall, we're also working in with Ngāi Tahu Peter here, and they're quite keen because they're the landowners. The council only owns all the buildings, that they're quite keen to build as well, so we're actually trying to build the whole thing in one lot, a hall, and also Peter's. Peter's can explain exactly what they want to build. Right. But one other thing on the submission is the last paragraph isn't actually quite right. We are actually looking for funds as well for the hall. 400,000 is certainly not going to do it, and we'd probably be looking at, say, you know, 200,000 to 300,000.
On top of that?
On top of that, yeah. You know, just to get, you know, basically to, effluent, you know, you got effluent, the old hall's got asbestos sidings on one part of it. You know, it'll cost, you know, quite a lot of money just to get rid of the old building. So Peter, would you like to say a bit on what they're hoping to do? It's all on one block of land.
Probably a tikanga demands. We have to pay our respects to this august body. These guys were a bit premature and leaping into the fray.
We only got 10 minutes, Peter.
It doesn't matter. Tikanga takes as long as it needs to. Kia ora tātou, ka rangatira mā, rāua rangatira mā, o tautahine, kei te mihi. I've got to acknowledge the building and the grounds, but considering half of it's Ngāi Tahu, I'm not quite sure how I address that. Kia ora tātou, kei te mihi.
Kia ora.
Quite simply, speaking on behalf of Te Runanga o Kokorarata and Ngāi Tahu, we, the camping grounds of Ngāi Tahu land, as is the land where the community hall is entitled, but what it gives us a responsibility to the community. As they correctly pointed out, water is a major issue there, and it has to be addressed. Ngāi Tahu will not support any our building program community support until the issue of potable water is dealt with. You have a school there, children. You have a whole community, and how they put up with it, I've got no idea. How they prefer to chew their water than drink it. It's an issue that needs to be addressed. As owners of camping ground, where the land of the camping ground is on, I beg your pardon, it's an issue that needs to be addressed and addressed very immediately. It's quite a simple matter. It's the health and the health of the whole of the community. Totally support what Richard and Nigel are saying. We wish, because it's Māori land, to be able to host as tikanga demands with a little whare there, and a whare kai, and of course the toilet facilities as well, which means we can move the activities which currently take place at the museum onto Māori land where they should be held, which supports no less than our commitment to the museum, because what's in that museum is very much us and everybody here. It's our shared history. In simple words, there's steps, as far as we're concerned, that need to be taken first, and that is healthy water for our children and our community to drink. Kia ora tātou, kei te mihi.
Kia ora.
At the height of summer, there are some 500 campers down in the ground, and they haven't got potable water available to them. And the city council run that campground, administer that campground.
I think just one further thing too. I know it comes from the isolated camping grounds kind of scenario that it's run. I think it's way past that period in time now. It's only an hour's drive from Christchurch. You've got to get over that gig. There's issues there that need to be addressed, and addressed very quickly.
Andrew?
Two things, if I may. My understanding is that there is some risk that camping ground at Okains Bay could close if the wilderness campsite status was withdrawn, and if the water supply was not upgraded to a potable standard. That we've been operating on an exemption at the Okains Bay camping ground, and that exemption could in fact be withdrawn unless we do something about the water supply. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think that the exemption rests on rather shifting ground at best. It's, I think, a perilous exemption.
And the current water supply as it stands, that's drawn from a stream and it's untreated water. Are you able to describe to me the activities that go on around that stream that the water's drawn from?
It's drawn from springs at the present time,
2 springs, yeah.
and they are not securely and properly fenced off from, protected from stock, either at the source or higher up from the source, so that there is always the risk of contamination in that source, let alone the turbidity that gets into it when we have heavy rain events. And that's why when you run a bath, you may as well be in the mud baths of the Roman days, because you can't see the bottom of your bath.
So do the people of Okains Bay drink that water?
Some of us do.
Yep.
Some of us have filters on the lines. The camp occupants boil every drop of water, as I understand it. Some guts get used to it and run the risk of infection. Others don't want to run the risk.
One of the problems is the resource consent for taking the water ran out some years back, and this seems to be one of the major concerns. And the amount we're drawing from the stream is far too much, but the Mike Berg, who's been looking at, he's taking the creek water, there's plenty of, out of the main creek, and cleaning that up. Which, the council's sort of, out talking, $2.6 million to do it, but, I've been to the meetings because of the reserve board, and honestly, I look at the figures, and just back of the envelope sort of budgets, and $400,000 would clean it up, real good.
Yanni?
But,
Oh,
Thank you. I understand it from the media that it'll cost 30,000 for a study into the water, and there's no money to do that. But given that you've, oh, it's been done, has it? Oh, okay. So, given that you're asking for something, and two things, which seem fairly reasonable, have you looked at other things in our budget that you would say, actually, you know, water's more important than X? And if so, what would those things that you would possibly consider that we should think about making a lower priority to do the things that are important to you?
Well, water's number one. Nothing will, until the water is up to potable standard, nothing else will flow on. Once we get water, everything else will trickle on after that.
It's all right, we don't fine the submitters, it's only the councillors that get fined for that.
Sorry? Hang on, Pete.
In the old days, that would have been death. My apologies. My apologies.
That's all right. Yeah, we might have to review that.
So there's nothing in our budget. I mean, I know what is the priority for you, but is there anything in our budget? You know, we've had submissions on things like Naval Yacht Club, 10 million, the stadium people have mentioned previously.
Don't go
roads.
offering up things people can trade off.
just-
If they have you considered the
Have you considered
trade-offs?
anything that we could deprioritise to deal with your priority in our budget?
No.
Absolutely
We're not in
none.
the competition business.
Yeah,
We're saying water, water, water.
yeah.
We haven't looked, honestly, we haven't looked at looked at budgets and saying, we'll cut that out here and there and there. That's not our job. That's your job. With the greatest of respect. Councillor.
Get that guy's name. He's good. It's about community outcomes for community. As simple as that. If our children go and have safe water to drink, goodness me, we got a few questions to ask of ourselves.
Yeah.
On Waitangi Day, we have to bring water tankers in and water supplies in. Because we
Oh,
don't want
bloody hell.
third strike and he's gone.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
but look, that brings us to the conclusion of the time available for the submission. So thank you very much for making the submission. I think it's been received loud and clear. We'll obviously got quite a bit of work to do.
Oh, well, thank you, and hopefully you can secure that money just to keep on the reserve, on the hall and not other parts of the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.